Hello and welcome to the Spotlight as we examine the police recruiting wars. I'm David Rose. Amid the calls to defund and reform the police, there's a battle going on between law enforcement agencies. They are competing to recruit and retain qualified officers, with some agencies offering perks like take-home cars, 4-day work weeks, and thousands of dollars in signing bonuses. But a notable agency is hemorrhaging talent, the Seattle Police Department, and things could be about to get significantly worse. The Spotlight's Matt Markovich digs into the numbers and discovers that the Emerald City is staring down the barrel of a full-blown public safety emergency.
The staffing crisis at Seattle Police is getting worse.
Number one, officers want to feel valued, they want to feel appreciated, and they're also thinking about their own health and well-being.
Apparently, that's not happening. 43 have left this year, only 13 hired. SPD is now on track to lose far more officers than it's projected to hire. However, the president of the Police Officers Guild says the city's not revealing the true number, saying 59 have left.
I think some of this is political. That's why we try to circumvent the politics here and give the community accurate, non-political numbers so they really understand how serious this situation is.
I think all of us can agree that we do have a hiring crisis for the Seattle Police Department.
We are clearly dealing with a public safety emergency. We don't have enough officers on the street to deal with it.
Yet at a Seattle City Council committee meeting to discuss a hiring incentive resolution proposed by Councilmember Sarah Nelson, some appeared to be satisfied with the status quo, wanting alternative policing options.
The 2021 study found that 49% of all of our 911 call types, which constitute 80% of the call volume, could be responded to by an alternative responder, not a sworn officer.
The problem?
Do we have any of these alternative emergency responses ready to go today?
The answer to that is no.
Alternative policing may also be on the bargaining table right now, as the Police Officers Guild and the city are negotiating a new contract.
We are more than willing to sit down with the city and bargain what alternative forms of policing looks like when you compare it to the history, the work that's been done by police officers, by members of this union.
And the chief revealing in the meeting, the department has disbanded community police teams and precinct-based anti-crime teams. Bike and beat cops have gone from 55 to 4, reduced investigative and specialty units, all in an effort to put more officers into patrol cars and reduce 911 response times, and those times are still going up.
Our priority 1 call response time has gone up, as well as our priority 2 calls has actually exceeded over 30 minutes, and our priority 3 calls is almost over an hour. So even when people do need 911 services, we're not able to respond in an adequate amount of time.
By its own account, Seattle Police is on track to fall short of its hiring goal of 125 new officers this year. It just dropped that goal to 98. The officers' union president says it's more like 50.
Although they've lowered it, their expectations, they're still over projecting the amount of hires.
The council is currently not funding any retention or hiring bonus to keep or recruit new officers.
Most, if not all, cities in our region do have this, and it's been said that we need to level the playing field for offering our officers this. Otherwise, we're going to lose them to other departments.
For example, the lateral hiring bonuses offered by nearby police agencies range from $15,000 to $30,000. At SPD, it's zero. A new mayor's report supports some council members' assumptions that incentives don't work.
It's not clear for SPD that the bonuses resulted in more people applying.
The council is now focusing on other city positions the mayor's office says could use hiring and retention incentives, like carpenters, HVAC technicians, plumbers, truck drivers, cashiers, inspectors, even a veterinarian.
Because it's not just retention strategies in one department, given that there's been a lot of a focus on that. It's retention and recruitment strategies in every single department.
So a good day for me is I was able to help.
Seattle Police has been on a promotional push to hire new officers for several years, producing several day-in-the-life profiles of officers in an effort to win over new recruits. The union chief says that's all well and good, but there's something simple that can be done to keep officers from fleeing the department.
We need a politician that publicly says police officers are valued in this city and we welcome their service to this great community. That's literally as basic as I need to say it.
I want to talk about the funding in the Seattle City Council. What's happening with all the money right now that's not being used to pay for salaries? Are we basically defunding the police by just not paying salaries and hiring new officers?
It's kind of almost like default, because the Seattle City Council, which controls all the funds in the city of Seattle, including the SBD budget, they're basically talking about taking all the money from these officers who they won't be able to hire this year. And you just heard that SPOG is saying it may be 50, where they had budgeted for 125. So that's at least $4.5 million, maybe even more by the end of the year. Well, some members of the City Council are talking about putting that back into the general fund for other uses that aren't related to Seattle Police. If that happens, prevailing feeling is that money won't ever go back to the Seattle Police Department, because, as you know, there's been this 2-year adversarial relationship between the police department and the city council. The police department doesn't feel like they're supported by the city council, and the city council hasn't been funding SBD to the point that they want to.
Oh yeah, if that money goes back to the general fund, you can say goodbye to it forever. They will use it for other pet projects. Where does Mayor Harrell stand on all this?
The mayor has stood back and basically said, I'm going to wait and see. He's been asked direct questions, including me. Do you plan to have your own initiatives that would allow for recruiting bonuses or even a retention bonus? And he's basically said, I'll wait and see. So what he did is have his staff go into all the departments in Seattle to figure out, well, do we need incentive bonuses for other departments like animal control or city light, things like that. They came back and they found that other places need it. So now the council has ammunition, in a way, to move some of the funds that Harrell may have could use for just an incentive bonus for SBD. That money could go to all these other departments. So Mayor Harrell has not come out and said, I strongly support retention bonuses or incentive bonuses. I want to wait and see.
Matt Markovich, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Well, when it comes to hiring new officers, departments across our state are up against two main obstacles. Now, one is perception, that some vocal members of the public and politicians don't support the job that they're doing. Some potential recruits interested in the job could be concerned that they won't be appreciated, or they'll face even some public backlash. The other is the Criminal Justice Training Center, where all new hires must attend a 6-month training class. Other states don't have that. For example, when New York or Los Angeles police departments need to hire new officers, they find candidates, make offers, and then send cadets to their own training academies. But for law enforcement agencies based in Washington state, they hit a bottleneck that incentivizes agencies to compete for lateral hires, officers and deputies who have already graduated from the Criminal Justice Training Center and are on the job with other departments. That's leading to an arms race to see who can dole out the most cash for signing bonuses and perks. For example, Tacoma is looking to fill about 50 positions. The city's offering $25,000 to entice officers to transfer from other agencies, and they'll let them take home a car, so they don't rack up miles or burn their own gas commuting. Tacoma's new police chief, Avery Moore, telling the Spotlight his department is in the Goldilocks zone.
You have the opportunity to have a career within the career, because we're not a small department, we're not large, we're right in that mid-level. So you can be a detective here, homicide, sexual assaults, you can work in K-9, you can work in the traffic division, you can work in the new coming gang unit, narcotics. So it's just a wide range of opportunity here that you may not have at a smaller agency.
He took over the job in January and is taking an analytics-based approach to assess crime and allocate resources.
So my mantra to my people are, we're going to focus solely on what we can do. We know the parameters already. So we're going to focus on what we can do, and we're going to deliver with the community and what we want. We want to make it safe because we live in Tacoma as well.
His strategic plan includes using criminologists from Texas to research where violent crimes are occurring in Tacoma and mixing that data-driven approach with a heartfelt New Agey message.
At the root of all policing is love. And I believe you have to tell your officers you love them. You have to show them that you love them, because everybody needs love. So that's my motto. love.
The Pierce County Sheriff's Department also has about 50 positions open for deputies. They've hired several former Seattle police officers who made the switch. Deputies patrol from Mount Rainier to the Sound. They also take home a patrol vehicle. The county's offering a $15,000 signing bonus. For some considering a career in law enforcement, it matters who the top cop is. King County has a new sheriff. Patty Cole-Tindall was appointed to the permanent position this week after serving as interim sheriff since last year. Her department is searching far and wide for new deputies. We spoke with the new boss as deputies took off for a literal recruiting drive.
Law enforcement is a noble career. It is a way to serve and give back to the community. We train our deputies well. We train them to keep themselves safe, to keep the community safe.
They headed out for Reno in this SUV that serves as a rolling billboard, looking to hit the jackpot with job seekers.
We have a very competitive salary package, including take-home vehicle. We have 410 schedules and a variety of other specialty assignments.
Her department is offering out-of-state hires $5,000 in moving expenses and up to $15,000 in signing bonuses. Almost every law enforcement agency is scrambling to fill positions.
So we're trying to think outside the box within the parameters and the guidelines that we really still need to be safe.
The jobs in law enforcement are numerous and varied. The Washington State Patrol is looking to hire 911 dispatchers and troopers, showcasing the different types of career paths they have.
We have other jobs besides wearing this and going out and patrolling traffic. I mean, we have detectives that do collision investigations when there's vehicular assaults, vehicular fatalities. We have auto theft detectives, we have narcotics detectives, and we have a lot of other different specialties.
It's rare, but some departments like Bellevue aren't struggling to hire. They were the first in the state to offer a signing bonus back in 2018. They only have one position open right now and are still offering a $16,000 signing bonus. The city of Everett is aggressive and forward-thinking about hiring for its police department. They dedicated 2 detectives to processing background applications. It shaved off weeks from the process, allowing them to make offers to candidates more quickly. And since candidates often apply to multiple agencies at the same time, getting an offer out first helps. The city also hired a production company to create a video touting the benefits of living in Snohomish County and how much the city supports its officers and its department. The Spotlight's cameras were on set for the shoot. We met the juggernaut behind the campaign, Detective Danny Rebellos, who has a quick smile, an infectious laugh, and the ability to talk to anyone openly and honestly.
We're going to turn here and march
we're
down
looking
there.
for more women in law enforcement. We're looking for more people from diverse groups.
The crowd's kind of serious, I told them, and then we're kind of walking.
I became a police officer because I didn't necessarily like the way police interacted with citizens. So I've spent a career changing and bringing trust to the community.
We are working really hard to recruit new officers. It's been really hard in the environment the last couple of years to recruit officers, and to see this showing of community support and love that the city has for our Everett Police Department is just heartwarming.
You do deal with a lot of trauma as a police officer because you respond to people on their worst day.
This has been a hard year for Everett. We lost Officer Rocha in the line of duty, and I think the community is really what's been helping us get through this really difficult time.
For me, not only in policing, but just in society, we got to have everybody just come together. There's too much of people not coming together.
It is absolutely important that our department reflects the community we serve, right? And so we want women in our police department. We want young people in our police department. We want people of all races and ethnicities in our police department, sexual orientation. This is a police department that really wants the community to see themselves in our police.
I'm heavily tattooed, and you would be amazed at how many people just come talk to me because they feel comfortable because I'm tattooed. I came from an abusive family and I grew up very poor, and so superheroes were kind of my escape. We always wanted some superhero to come save us. My favorite is actually Green Lantern. With willpower, you can do anything. On one sleeve, I have all the heroes. On the other sleeve, I have all villains. And I could have been on either arm, and I'm no better than anybody else, and I'll never treat anybody like that.
He was the one that sent me to prison the first time, and he knows me very well, so he invited me, which was cool. He actually helped me out a lot. You know, he's always there to talk to. He's respectful. You know, if you need anything, he's the first one that would answer the phone if you called him.
I love talking to people, so it doesn't matter who you are. I'll talk to you. I've recruited people in just a mall line. To me, I don't know if it's necessarily challenging or more of an excitement to expose stuff to new people and bring the opportunity for them that they may not have understand, oh, I can apply and be a police officer. We're 20 positions down. I would love to get us fully staffed, especially before I leave policing. Seeing people succeed from, I used to arrest them, they went to prison, they're off of drugs, to people that have been successful in this community. Those are the stories that are important. And Everett PD, we don't work for the city itself, we work for the people of the city.
It's very humbling and very emotional to have this many people here. So.
Detective Rebellos tells us he expects the video to debut in June.